former staffers for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis are throwing him under the bus. Now, it's unclear who these staffers are. They weren't courageous enough to speak to the Daily Beast while letting their names be printed. So they could have jumped ship to go potentially work for Trump. We don't know, but I do want to give you that caveat as we give you the details. But man, they are throwing DeSantis under the bus like you would not believe. They're arguing that he's antisocial, he doesn't like to be around people. So far, so good, actually. I have no problem with that. But he apparently likes to eat pudding with his fingers. You're gonna have to wait for the details on that. Okay, I'm saving the best for last.
Ron de pudding, Ron de messy. He's got pudding all over his fingers.
Ron de sloppy. It's disgusting. We can't have a president who eats chocolate pudding with his fingers.
Can't let
He's gonna
that
get
happen.
pudding all over those bills when he's signing them. We can't have that. It's America.
How is he going to press the nuclear button when his hands are laden with chocolate pudding? What will we do? All right, so aside from that, which again, we'll give you the details of, despite having a job that entails exchanging small talk and pleasantries on a daily basis, the Florida governor tends to brush off those obligations and struggles with basic social skills. According to a source close to DeSantis, several of his former staffers and other GOP operatives who have worked with him and his team. In fact, everything he does in public is highly scripted, highly planned and choreographed, according to a former staffer of his. It's very prescribed. There are limited off-the-cuff interactions because he is a robot. Okay, I added the robot part, but the rest of the quote is, there are limited off-the-cuff interactions while on the trail with DeSantis. And DeSantis rivals do see his antisocial behavior as something to kind of exploit for political purposes. The other thing that I thought was so incredible is Francis Rudy, who's a former congressman, said Ron is a little reserved and dry compared to, get a load of this, compared to George W. Bush and Bill Clinton. He is what he is. So what he needs to do is organize his campaign to minimize that characteristic. You know, Ron DeSantis sucks and is not going to appeal to people on the campaign trail, so he really needs to find a way to hide that. That is the message I'm getting.
Absolutely. You remember when during the George W. Bush era, it was this thing, it was sort of a meme of, oh, people want to have a beer with him. You remember that?
Yes.
Oh, people want to have a beer with him. Ron DeSantis is the guy you would avoid at the bar. You wouldn't even not have a beer with him. You would just want to stay away. That guy's making the party boring. You know, that's Ron DeSantis. You cannot do the beer test with Ronnie D at all.
I mean, look, the real question though is who pushes who away? Because Ron DeSantis will create literal physical barriers between himself and crowds that have come to see him speak. So for instance, this was amazing. During his Iowa swing, DeSantis's apparent use of bike racks to create space between himself and a crowd didn't go unnoticed elsewhere. If they want 50 bike racks, we'll give them 50 bike racks, a New Hampshire GOP lawmaker quipped. So Ron is not a man of the people. He will put bike racks between himself and his fellow Americans. And strategists also notice that he hides, similar to Biden during the 2020 presidential election, a GOP strategist who has no horse in the race, according to the Daily Beast, even compared DeSantis's early approach to that of his potential general election opponent, arguing the governor has embraced a Tallahassee basement strategy, mirroring that of Biden in 2020, where he hides from press and real voters. Not good. And finally, let's get to pudding. Enshrined in DeSantis lore is an episode from 4 years ago. How did we miss this, guys? Apparently during a private plane trip from Tallahassee to Washington, D.C. in March of 2019, DeSantis enjoyed a chocolate pudding dessert by eating it with 3 of his fingers, according to 2 sources familiar with the incident. How bad did you want that chocolate pudding that you couldn't wait for a spoon? Like how bad?
Oh boy, jeez. Now I don't know if he's just like a bad politician or a murderer. That's like a psychopath behavior. They need to check, the mind hunters need to get on it with that guy. Eating pudding with 3 fingers. Ugh, gross.
So gross.
Weird.
Yeah, look, the other stuff, look, you wanna be a politician, you gotta get over the antisocial, whatever, the issues you have with like small talk and all of that. But on a human level, I do get it. Right? Like, I do understand. If I could have my way, I would live in the smallest town in the country where like my next neighbor is approximately 25 miles away. Okay, that is like a dream scenario for me. So I get it, but I'm not a politician. So, you're gonna have to do campaign events. I think there's a possibility that he might not run at all. What do you think?
Yeah, it's looking like that because his chances look so bad. I mean, there's also, they did a straw poll at CPAC. I don't know if you saw that, where, and I don't know, it could just be, anecdotal and skewed and all that. But yeah, he just lost brutally in that too. So I would drop out. I wouldn't do it.
I mean, he hasn't even announced. He hasn't even announced. And I think part of the reason why he hasn't announced is because he's like really questioning whether he wants to do this. And he just doesn't know how to respond to Trump's attacks. You need someone who's not afraid of Trump, and he's clearly afraid of Trump. It's very obvious to me.
Absolutely.
For good reason. Trump's vicious, man. He will pull any trick out of his hat to win. He wants power so badly. And that on its own is kind of terrifying.
Wait till Trump finds out about this pudding, this 3-finger pudding thing. It's over.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Honestly, like, I can't wait for that moment, and I can't wait to hear, because he's the top insult comic in the country, right? Yeah. He didn't pursue that profession, but he fell into it, and it's where he belongs. He's the top insult comic. No
matter what, he's got it. He's got that insult comic charisma, and like these people are confirming what we already know. Ron DeSantis is just sort of this empty suit, so. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.